Welcome back, everybody, to the breaking news, so you don't break your bank. All right. So we got a couple of things. The biggest portion of today's update is actually an email that I received from one of our tribe, where there is another major scam. We've gone through a number of scams, right? We've talked about false billing scams. We've talked about Social Security, people asking that you owe taxes for the IRS, Social Security scams. Well, this one is a little closer to home for us because it literally keys in to our ignorance that there isn't a Visa or a MasterCard. In the last boot camp we did over the weekend, I just drove home, just seriously drove home. There's no such thing as a Visa and a MasterCard, as in credit cards that are Visa cards and MasterCards. Visa and MasterCard are credit card processors. Well, this credit card scam is where an individual calls announcing that they're from the security and fraud department at Visa or MasterCard. Now, for those of us who are in the know, what does that tell us? There is no MasterCard security and fraud department, but they're acting like it is a bank, right? So number one, and then they tell you their badge number. Then they say that our card has been flagged for unusual purchase patterns, and they're calling to verify. Now, again, for those of us who know that there is no such thing as a Visa or MasterCard, we're like, yeah, get off my damn phone. For those of us who think that there's such a thing as a Visa or MasterCard, we're like, okay, oh shit, well, all right, then they go, they'll ask if we purchased an expensive item for a certain price from a company based in a particular town. When we say no, the caller then says that a credit will be issued to your account, meaning that they're showing a record. Now, what are you supposed to do? Look at every single one of your credit cards? See how, when we know the rules of this game, do we understand how potent this can be? Well, right now they're saying, oh, you didn't make this purchase, so we'll give you a credit. Now, all of a sudden we're thinking, oh, I got money coming to me. They'll tell you they've been watching this company and the charges range from $297 to over $500. And then they'll tell you the credit will be sent before your next statement. And they give you your address and ask you if this is correct. So it's not a credit to the card. They want to mail it to you. Following me? So once they say that, when we say yes, the caller says they'll be starting a fraud investigation. If you have any questions, call the 800 number listed on your card and ask for security. Which card? See what I'm saying? Which card? Is it Chase? Is it our Wells Fargo? Is it our? This is just bogus. But the problem is that I'm on this watch. I'm on this watch list, and there are so many people who don't know how this process works. So I'm glad I'm able to tell you there's no such thing as a Visa or a MasterCard, guys. If you haven't been to my boot camp, I'll just cut straight to this one of 700 massive ahas. There's no such thing as a Visa or a MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard, as well as Discover and American Express, are credit card processors where merchants, when you swipe it, the money leaves the merchant's account, goes to Visa, MasterCard, and the issuing bank. But these guys are not talking about an issuing bank. They haven't once mentioned, yes, Craig, funding hackers, baby, that nobody has been given what bank this is coming from. But they say so call the 800 number listed on your card, ask for security. Then they say you'll need to refer to this control number, and they give you a 6-digit number asking if they should read it to you again. The caller then says that they need to verify you are in possession of your card. So up until now, they're building credibility. They want to make sure that you're in possession of the card. They will ask you to turn your card over. There's 7 numbers which they already know, but they're after the security numbers that will let you make internet purchases. Then they'll ask you to read out the security numbers. When they do, they'll tell you the numbers are correct. They just need to verify the card was not lost or stolen. You still have the card. They say, do you see how they build rapport, give you enough data that's available anywhere on the internet about your address or whatever, and then start leading you towards being able to get that $297, $500 purchase credited to your account. And so you will actually say very little, and they will not ask for or tell you the card number. They do not need to do this. They're already in possession of some portion of the card. Remember how we talked about in the boot camp, how we talked about theft, identity theft. They may even have credit card theft because they can capture numbers. But if they don't have the security code, nothing can happen. So they're now fishing for security code numbers. I'm telling you, everybody, this is complete. This is horrible. And it's just one more way where they are using your lack of sophistication, or using the borrower's lack of sophistication against us. So be aware, you guys. Beware this particular scam, but there is no security and fraud department at Visa and MasterCard. Visa, MasterCard, there is no such thing as a Visa card. That's a logo. A Visa card, or it's actually Visa. And MasterCard, the word card is in there. So everybody thinks that it's a credit card, a debit card, but that it is not. So be very careful, you guys. It's a joke. This is not okay, and we need to be completely aware of this. Meanwhile, in other news, there are in an article that I read, there's 5 ways in which financial institutions are actually scoring lower and lower in like the J.D. Powers customer satisfaction survey, right? Number 1 is that they are not meeting. Everything's going digital, and all the fintechs are going digital, and all these fake banks, the web banks and stuff like that are also trying to prey. While they're legal, they're still trying to ruin your credit by giving you very low value, ugly junk credit instruments because of we don't know any different. We don't know better. So there are the ways in which they are that they're declining is that they're not meeting the borrower where the borrower is. We've been trained over the last almost 2 years. Next month, guys, it's 2 years. We've been trained over the last 2 years to leave home less, even if we are working outside of the house. There, for many in the population, we're staying at home more. And yet many banks, some of the especially tier 1 and tier 2 banks, many of them are requiring that you come in and talk to a banker in the branch. While I have talked about that some banks are expanding to Zoom conferences and things like that for face-to-face banking. When I say face-to-face banking, it's so that they can identify you from your original documentation, your driver's license, stuff like that. It's a way that you can't deep fake yet a live Zoom call, right? And so, but they're making us still go out into the world rather than what we've been learning about automatic underwriting and automatic banking from our desktops at home, from our phones, etc. So there are a lot of we've gone down on a 1,000-point scale. There are fewer and fewer. As of the overall satisfaction has gone from 52% to 27% customer satisfaction in the current financial wellness relationship with banks, right? And so good news is we're pushing hard in the borrower education marketplace so that we can give, just like the things that we've talked about today. We want to make sure that you have what it takes, the knowledge, the information, and the action items that you need to become fundable, to know how simple things like there's no Visa and MasterCard credit cards. They're always related to some bank. So those types of things give us all the power in the world, right? So, and finally, what I want to close on is that there are 9 major trends. I'm just going to go through these, and we can pick them up a little bit later. But there are 9 pivotal trends that are occurring that we need to just notice, right? First of all, more and more credit offers and increased cross-selling, meaning if you got a credit card with a bank, they want you to do a deeper relationship with a checking account if you don't have one, an auto loan, a mortgage, etc. So be very aware. We do not respond. Another thing from the boot camp, we do not respond to credit card offers. That puts us on gray lists and black lists of that we are easy prey to credit card predators, not necessarily even the Wells Fargo and the Chases of the world, but of all kinds of predatory marketing. And more on that if you want to go to the boot camp. We have a whole lot to say about that. There is even more buy now, pay later offerings because it's interest free, even though there's only 3 to 5 payments, mostly 4 payments. It's interest free to the borrower over these 4 payments, and therefore merchants are again coming out of their pocket to pay for these buy now, pay laters. It's only going to increase. There's a rise in delinquencies that go with easy credit. And so regulation changes are on deck right now from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, so that they are adding more penalties and more capacity for debt collection. Be on the watch out for that. The shift we just spoke about a moment ago, the shift to 100% digital onboarding of new checking accounts. More and more people are going there, but it's not happening as fast as consumers want it, as borrowers want it. But just know that the banks are committed to this process to digitally onboard checking accounts. Even though you can go to a website and fill out an application for a credit card, it has been much more difficult to do that because there's things they have to check for money laundering purposes and drug trafficking, all kinds of preventative measures have to be done, and that digital onboarding is making its way. So watch that this year. Financial crimes are on the uptick, so forcing institutions to strengthen their defenses. That's going to come into play more and more. We'll be talking more and more this year about FICO Falcon fraud prevention software, and that's the consortium of 9,000 banks. We'll be getting into that. If they haven't changed the date yet, in May is FICO World 2022, and I will be attending that. And there's a lot I'll be spending time and energy in the seminars and courses that talk about FICO Falcon. Contact center staff, meaning the bankers, our customer service reps, are going to matter even more. And they're literally talking about how to go to more personalized, not just phone calls, but as I predicted, Zoom calls. There are more changes in auto lending, more automatic underwriting for auto lending, etc. Financial institutions are focused on cloud platforms rather than being stuck in there with server centers. And finally, every institution will become a technology company. Every institution will become a fintech. Banks will become fintechs. We're becoming a fintech. So you heard it here first. Let's if you're a funding hacker, let's meet on the Zoom link. And or on Facebook, so we can do a deep dive on any of these and answer your questions. If you are not a funding hacker yet, be sure to go to getfundablebootcamp.com, register for the boot camp, get the education, the financial education, the borrower education you need to literally thrive in what's happening out here. We will see you on the inside.